Okay.
Welcome to our podcast of Giovanna and I. Too much is never enough. And this evening we have a very special guest with us, David. So Jovi, I'm going to go ahead and send it over to you. Introduce David as our guest. We're excited for everybody to be here as we're bringing people on a platform to talk about what they do for a living and give back to others with value, interest, and concern.
Absolutely. And thank you, David, for this opportunity for you to come on and share a little bit about your story, especially about entrepreneurship. I know you have several businesses. You are also a realtor. You have several backgrounds. And I know that you started as a young child as an entrepreneur. So what brought you and what made you become an entrepreneur?
Wow. Well, first of all, I want to say thanks to both of you for allowing the opportunity to be on this podcast. It's a real honor, right? And I love supporting, I love giving back to the community. So it's not about just being successful, but it's about helping others be successful too as well, right? So as far as becoming an entrepreneur, I think I just kind of rolled into it. I grew up very simple, hardworking parents, blue collar jobs. My father worked for the utility company. He works extremely hard. My mother was a school teacher, so you know how those schedules can be, right? And I always saw them working extremely hard, doing the best they could to provide for myself and my younger brother, right? And I know sometimes, things might have been, tough, but they always provided for us. As I was growing up, I started thinking, hey, you know what? I want to start working, but I was too young to work, right? And I always wanted a bike. And yes, I eventually got one from my parents as a surprise, and also from my grandmother, but I wanted to start to save for my own things, right? So my mom, she would actually help me buy little beads and wire, and around the holiday times, I might have been maybe 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, around that. I would go around the neighborhoods and just try and sell them and make a buck. And I figured, hey, you know what? This is my money. This is what I'm earning. I learned the value of working hard, right? And then I think through that journey, it kind of helped me just, become an entrepreneur. And I said, you know what? Yes, it's good to work for somebody else, but if you can work for yourself, you can kind of make your own schedules too.
Absolutely.
I love that, because being an entrepreneur, Jovi and I also have our businesses. I own probably about 4 or 5 businesses right now, and it's not easy. Everybody thinks, oh, you own your own business, you must be doing great. You're putting 24/7 into everything. But the best thing I like, even though that the money goes up and goes down, comes in and goes out, is my time freedom. And I know that Jovi, you can agree to that too, and you as well, David. Like, we have our time freedom. Being your own boss is giving yourself time. You're taking your time, you're managing it to the best of your abilities to work for your benefit and for the benefit of others. You're not having to be on somebody else's time schedule. I think that the time freedom is of value as being an entrepreneur,
And that, if I may jump in, that is very, very true. Because if you notice, a lot of people with a lot of money don't have a lot of time, and a lot of people with a lot of time sometimes don't have a lot of money. But if you can have the best of both worlds, why not? And I've seen sometimes, in some cases, people say, well, I've got no time, I've got no time. Hey, you know what? But if you don't make that sacrifice, make a little bit more time now to be able to have a little bit more time later, wouldn't that be worth it? For example, I always heard, hey, we all have 24 hours in a day. I know you ladies have heard this, right? Why can somebody make, for example, let's just say $1 million in 24 hours, while somebody can only make X amount? It's not how many hours you have in your time, it's what you're doing with your time.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I totally agree with you, David. Yeah. That's the best thing, like using your time wisely. I was always told that by different mentors of mine. Use your time wisely, make every minute and every hour count. So I've done that throughout the years. At first, I didn't know how to do my time management, but it takes time, you know, and discipline.
Oh, yeah, I learned that hard lesson because I know you mentioned, Jovi, that I'm a realtor and I still do real estate part-time. And even though I always had the entrepreneur bug in me, right? I got to the point where I fell in that rat race. So I've been doing real estate for about 20 years now. But I got to the point in the early 2000s where I was work, and you hardly see your family, hard to have a relationship because you're always going, especially when you're working on commissions. And then around 2008, I had a major wake-up call. I'm sure a lot of us remember that when the real estate recession hit the US and it turned everything upside down. And a lot of what I had built, right, since I was depending on only like a paycheck to paycheck, I mean, I lost it within a matter of months, and with about 2 years, it was like I wouldn't have even had begun with. So all that blood, sweat, and tears was pointless. So I knew then at the time, hey, you know what? I need to keep my option open for going, looking at other ways of making money and going back into that entrepreneurship, because there's a saying that say, hey, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I knew I was getting older. So I was like, you know what? I need to find a vehicle. I need to find other vehicles, other income generators that instead of trading in time for money, not that there's anything wrong with it, but all the time, not always have to depend on that. So I just thought I'd share that.
Yeah.
That's powerful that you said that, because having an entrepreneurial mind, as Jovi and I both do, it's a very creative mind. It's a mind that has constant vision. You've got dreams, you have goals, you have things that you want to do, and you allow every door of opportunity to open in front of you, and then assess what that opportunity is. Will it benefit me? How can I benefit others? And how's it going to work? That's how entrepreneurs think. And when you're working a 9-to-5 job, which actually brings in your bread and butter, we all understand that there are so many people that don't have a passion or a desire or a love for their job. They're just doing it. And if you're just doing it and it's not benefiting you with your soul and who you are with your talents, it's time to find another job, or it's time to actually do something on your own. And that's what we're trying to bring here to people as far as being, a business owner. So what else do you do aside of your real estate?
You know what? If I can kind of piggyback when you just said, Son of Phil says no time, no time. But there's a motivational speaker, and I'm sure if you'll know who it is simply by the saying. And he says, work full time at your job while you're part time on your fortune. You need to start somewhere, because if you don't start somewhere, there's a saying which I had it earlier in the screen. In order to be great, you need to just get started. In order to be great at something, you need to get started, right? And on the entrepreneur side, it's not easy being an entrepreneur, because you have to be your own accountability partner. I mean, sometimes you may knock on doors and you may get that door slammed on your face. So you're riding this emotional roller coaster. You know what? I'm going to quit. But you know how they say, we've heard quitters never win and never quit. You know,
Yo.
but I just thought I'd kind of piggyback on that real quick.
I love that. I've actually knocked on doors in door-to-door sales for a garbage company, a privately owned garbage company, for 8 years.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard. It's hard because sometimes you doubt yourself, right? But then that's where I really believe it's not just about being successful with the money. It's about who you become along that journey. So for me, I for years I was just stuck into the making money, right? And yes, I have a strong faith, but I had kind of forgotten about the emotional side of it, right? And then when I started getting into looking at multiple streams, alternative streams of income, I started getting more plugged into personal development, because you are also growing your mind. The person you become is not the person who you started out. And that is how you're going to also affect other people. And you can relate to people when people say, oh, like you were saying right now, Karen, when getting people slamming the door on your face, right? Somebody else can now relate to that. And you know what? You're still here. So that means they can too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most most definitely. And But yes, personal development is one of those things where you definitely need to start, pick up a book, pick up an audio. If you hate to read, listen to an audio, right? Start with something, right? Because if you notice that, you know, a lot of the successful people out there, they have some kind of personal development coach, right? They have somebody who's guiding them along to build their mindset.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So what are one of your top 3 books that you prefer when it comes down to entrepreneurship? What are like,
Oh my
or
gosh.
I know you have plenty, because I know I do. I have a lot that are my favorite. But what are your top 3 that you would recommend for any entrepreneur?
One of the greatest books that I love is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
I
That
have,
uh, you have that book?
yeah,
It's a
Yeah, I do
powerful
too.
book. It's cool, right?
I read
yeah,
it twice. It's a great book.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I mean, that is one that I think everybody has to read, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, right?
Mhm.
That's a powerful book. Another good book, I would say, 21 Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, right? Or, to definitely read that or hear it, right? And there's so much out there. Well, not to that we're plugging, but there's a lot of good books out there. And of course, I love Jim Rohn. Anything by Jim Rohn, he was an incredible mentor. I wish I would have been able to meet him, but even sometimes in my down days, right? I'll go on YouTube because a lot of the stuff you can find on YouTube. You just have to look for it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'll share it with my team, share with partners, and sometimes people say, "Hey, thank you for sharing that." Say Jim Rohn, Maxwell, and of course Dale Carnegie. I know they're not all specific books, but they can help out
So they're the
without
main,
making it too long.
yeah. Otherwise, we would have a whole big old list, right?
Right
Yeah.
behind this green screen, I've got a whole shelf of books. If I could reach across, I'm like, oh my gosh, where to begin with?
Right, exactly. So share with us your passion. What is
Oh my gosh.
your passion?
My passion. My passion, Jovi and Karen, is a God and family. This is just my personal belief. I believe that if you put God first, family, and then business, you're going to have a good life, right? But my family is everything, right? Everything that I do is for my family. I, um, the having more time, more freedom, like you were saying, Karen, more money, and it doesn't need to be riches, but just having that more time, the quality of life with your family. So I would say my family, but then you know what? There's multiple levels on that because friends become family,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
you know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you get to the point where, I mean, some of these friends, which are now family, you might even cry on each other's shoulders, right?
Yeah.
In some cases, you can't do that with your boss, you know, but they think you're a weirdo, right? But if you can build those
Yeah.
relationships, oh my gosh, so.
Yeah.
Mhm,
No, it's true. Yeah. God and family. Absolutely.
mhm, 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 mhm. And as far as you know, I want to also do that for other people too, make a difference in their lives. I mean, that's another one of my deep passions, making a difference in this world, right? Sometimes people get caught up in this me world, right?
Yeah.
You have to think of the ripple effect. What decision are you going to do today that could affect somebody else's life? Maybe somebody you may not even know yet. You know,
Right.
I shared that earlier this evening on a conversation. The decision you make today could affect your tomorrow or somebody's tomorrow. Like, whoa, that's deep,
That
but it's
is.
true.
Mhm.
Yeah. Responsibility. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
So with your business,
So
what is
with
one of,
the
oh, sorry, go ahead, Karen.
No, no. I was gonna say the same question. You go ahead.
Go ahead, Karen. It's your turn.
No, you do it. No, you do it. Ask.
Go ahead, Karen.
With your business, how passionate are you with your business, and what drives you every day to get out of bed to do the business that you're doing? The passion, the drive, the wherewithal of getting up and like, this is what I'm going to do. Like what ignites the fire for you to have the passion that you do with your business?
That would go back to my family, because sometimes when people say, you know what, I want to quit, you know what, would you ever quit on your family? What if your family knew you were quitting on them? How would that make them feel, and how would that make you feel? You never
Yeah.
ever quit on your family, right? And it's not just immediate family. Like I was mentioning earlier, you have sometimes people that you don't even know that they may look up to you. Yesterday, I had a meetup. It was a business meetup for one of my other passions, right? And one of the gentlemen who I've known for such a long time, he just walked up to me and said, "Hey, you know what? Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for always being there. You don't know how much you've impacted my life." I kind of pause it for a second. I'm just like, I'm just Dave. I mean, I'm just sharing my heart. I wear my heart on my sleeve, but making a difference in other people's. When I wake up in the morning, I always say, you know what? It's going to be a great day, right? Because sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, there's this to do, there's that to do. But you know what? It's your perspective that you take on things that can be contagious.
Yeah.
It's like if you smile at somebody, they're going to smile back.
Right.
If you frown at
Yeah.
somebody, they're going to frown back, right? So I believe it's how you start your morning and how you want to have that day end. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need to share also, David, about the magic show that you do and
Oh my gosh.
how you contribute to the community, because that's one of my biggest ones that I like about what you do, especially with your community. So explain a little bit about the magic shows and
Well,
why you went that route too.
you know what? I'm going to backtrack to my childhood a little bit, Jovi.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I'm an extremely introvert person. I'm very reserved. Nobody believes me. See,
Me
that's what
too.
happens,
Me
you know?
too.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. They're like, how can you be an introvert? But as I mentioned earlier, my mom was a school teacher. So when I was 8, 9 years old, she would check out books on sci-fi, magic, monster stuff at the library. She would bring them to me. So I would, pick up a book on magic, and I would start learning, little tricks here and there. I doubt I was any good, but she would always encourage me. So that started helping me to become a little bit more of an extrovert, right? And I remember even when at the end of the year, because sometimes in high school or in any class, you don't have much to do. You're just kind of waiting for your school to finish, right? She would take me and my little brother. He would be my assistant, and I would do tricks. I doubted I was any good, but you know what? They applauded, and that made me feel good about myself. So I love that feeling that it made me feel, and the feeling that it made them feel, because they felt good in a way that they were making me feel good, and I felt good that I was making them feel good. So as I grew up, I figured, you know what? I'm gonna make magic a part of my life in one way or another, right? I do a lot of corporate events, a lot of business events, more of the mind reading type of magic, which is a whole different character mindset I have to put myself into. But as I was telling, 'cause we had a magic meetup last night with some of my associates, colleagues in the magic world, and I was like, you know what? Who knew that for the last 25 years, the majority of the shows that I do are for family shows and children's shows? That that might be the only time they may see some magic. So they're going to remember that magical moment for the rest of their life.
Right.
I mean, there's just something powerful about that, you know? So
We're
anyway, no.
touching people's lives though. That's the
Mhm.
one thing I see, because you're going to the community and you're making it seem with the magic shows that life is magical, and you can always make your life magical no matter what. So with a
Mhm.
little bit of magic and the magic shows that you're doing, it's bringing life to people, you're bringing, the light back up on them too,
It's
which
very,
is
very true.
amazing. Yeah.
Like when I perform, if you ever look at my videos or you happen to ever see me live, I like showing people and making sure they understand that they are appreciated. For example, sometimes not everybody can come up on stage, but I tell everybody, look, each and every one of you is a very important part of the show, because if it weren't for you guys, there would not be a show, right? So little things like that that people appreciate. I've done shows for example, like you know, somebody who might have been a child at that time and now they've got their kids, and hey, you know what? I remember how you made us feel, so I wanted my child to experience the very same thing. And I'm like, wow.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
I'm a multiple streams of income, and I'm an entrepreneur, jack of all trades, and I guess when God made me, He just broke the mold.
Amen, right? So
Well, I
going
think that
down to that, right? Go ahead, Karen.
no, I was gonna say the mold was shaped a little bit differently because I came out of that mold and so did Jovi. I mean, we're the same way. We are serial entrepreneurs, networkers till the cows come home. We're all about who do we know that we can connect with somebody else. I always take it back to when we talk about this a lot, Jovi, right? Going
Yeah.
back to when you're in kindergarten, connecting the dots, connect the dots and put the people in place. It's very challenging to work for yourself, but when you know how precious time is and how much you can make the most of your time, work for you and others, that's the beauty of it. And then that's what gives you the time freedom to have those decisions to be with your family. So yeah, it's wonderful. It's an honor to be here with both of you.
Same here.
Thank you.
So our last question, David. Um, how did your faith bring you this far?
You know what? Truthfully, ladies, I don't think that if it weren't for my faith, I know for a fact that I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now, right? And as I started getting more into, personal development, my brain started going, wait a minute, I've seen this somewhere. It's crazy, but pick up any personal development book, and then I mean, not to get religious or anything, right? I don't want to, but a lot of the things, look at Proverbs, look at Psalms, a lot of it is in there. And a lot of those
Yes.
sayings, for example, one of my favorite sayings is, but as don't give up, be strong, for your hard work will be rewarded. That's straight
Yes.
out of the Bible.
Exactly.
Be
Yeah.
strong, don't give up, for your hard work will be rewarded, right? I mean, you think that'd be something out of a secular, but those things are going to stay in your mind. And when you share those things, I mean, they don't know where it came from, but like, wow, where did you pick up that? But yes, my connection with, you know, my faith has tremendously helped me a lot along my journey. 100%.
That's awesome.
hmm 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 And I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on, but I love making a difference in people's lives, and hopefully this podcast, maybe a little something that we said might inspire somebody, and maybe the next time they're going through a rough patch or going through something, they can remember, hey, I'm not the only one. You know, it's normal. It's okay for this to happen. But you know what? That's why you say you're going through something. You don't stay in something. Could be that means you're going to come out on the other end. Don't quit. Don't give up. Right? Don't be anxious.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. You know.
Right? Yeah, I love that.
No, it's beautiful. Jesus was the number one networker. It's a known fact. The Bible is the number one book that is sold globally in this world. So the word is the word, and it resonates and says so many different platforms in the world. And
just like you said, David, like it's just so true. I mean, everything will come if you lead with intention, everything else will follow. We're all brought here to serve each other, and that's it. We're all here to help each other. I might not know. I may have something that I want to share with Jovi, or maybe I have somebody for her that she could work with, or maybe she has a referral for me, or we have a referral for you, or hey, maybe your cousin can do something that a friend of mine needed. We're all about the networking, and that was Jesus, the number one networker. He brought people together, and he, you know, no judgment, no nothing. We're here to serve each other. Money will come at the end of the day, but again, if you want to talk about things about the Bible, we all tithe, you give back. So anything that we're making, we're giving back. We're serving. We can serve with our words, we can serve with our actions, we can serve in volunteership, we can serve with money. However we're deciding to serve, we're there to serve each other and help each other to get to where we're all really most supposed to be. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And whatever reason or season it is, it's very important to address it, to make the most of it as far as that opportunity goes and move forward. So entrepreneurship is difficult, but it's been wonderful listening to you because you've got your passion. We can feel your energy and the fact that, you've ignited and touched a lot of things that Jovi, I think you could agree that you and I have, we've listened to those mentors. We've read the books. We've been there. It's not easy, but to be in a same mindset as other people, it's good because it's, it brings us all together on that good platform of, and you can do this. You just have to work for it and have faith, right?
100%. And if I may piggyback on what you just said right now, Karen, I've learned through this journey that you have to be the servant leader, because yes, you can be a leader, but you must also serve. So you need to try to have that heart. People need to have that heart, right? Because when you're a leader, people are looking up to you. How are you going to react to situations? Are you going to be this all-knowing, pompous person, right? Or yes, you can be all-knowing, but you could have a caring heart, right? And be willing to serve others. So I just thought to kind of mention that.
Exactly. No, I totally agree with you. That's very true.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited, to have been on here, and I mean, anytime you all definitely want to do this again, and I mean, I could talk about any topic. Jovi
yeah.
knows,
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
we've been and we're like an hour later, it's like, wow, we should have been recording this.
Right? Oh my God. Yeah.
That's great. I believe in leading by example. Like you're talking about servant leader, no excuses. This evening I had to pick up my dog from my friend's house because I was doing something on a project that I'm working on. I'm in the car, we're doing our podcast, no excuses. You just show up, you make it happen, right? Our example of who we show up for ourselves every day and how we show up for us, we show up for other people. I also believe in showing up and just doing the best you possibly can, no matter what. No excuses, just make it happen. Unless, of course, it's an emergency, but you happen to do it. We're so honored to have you here. And we're really excited about our podcast because, we've been doing interviews for a while now and we've come a long way, Jovi, you and I, but the most important is that showing up. Just show up, you're committed and you do it and make it happen. And we're all here to learn from each other because at the end of the day, we're all students of life.
100%. Very well said, Karen.
Yeah.
So do you guys want to add anything else to it before we wrap up?
If I may, just kind of want to leave a couple of words, because sometimes people are like, I'm stuck in a position and I can't, I want to change, but I can't change, right? So this is something else I've read and I share it a lot with my team, right? For things to change, we need to change, right? For things to get better, we need to get better. So it takes action to have change, to get the results, because success is a direct result of your efforts. But then is, how do you do that action? Are you going to be calculated, right? Or are you're going to be sloppy about it? So just begin, right? You can't let, like another one of my mentors, or we should say mentors, but of course, they're no longer with us, right? Never met him, but one of the books and audios, that you can't let the winds of change affect how you go, right? You have to set your sail, right? And then don't let the winds, direct it. That's pretty much the gist, right? So if there's something in life that you want to do, just do it. Talk to people who are going to motivate you, because once again, you're going to end up being the sum of the 5 people you're on the most. And we've heard like there's a saying that says that I always like to tell my team, look, if you're around 4 wealthy people, you'll be the 5th. If you're on 4 fit people, you'll be the 5th. If you're on 4 people with positive mindsets, you'll be the 5th. If you're on 4 idiots,
Right? I
you
like
want to be
that one.
around.
Oh,
Surround yourself with who you want to be like, right? So I just thought I'd leave you guys and girls with that.
okay.
Definitely.
So
But
did
thanks
you
for
want to
having me
wrap it
on.
up, Karen?
Yes, no, just thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in us. This podcast is Too Much, Never Enough. We talk about everything and anything under the sun. We are here for the platform to raise the vibration in the world, to serve other people, to give them a safe space to talk about whatever their dreams, their passion, their visions, what they're doing with their lives. We're here promoting people with their businesses and with their careers, or anything that you have going on. We're here to promote, to elevate, to escalate, and just raise the vibration of the world. So thank you so much, David, for being here. And Jovi, I love you so much. Too much is never enough.
Too much is never enough. And you guys, if you have any comments, like this video. And if you have any comments for David or myself, or even Karen, just put it down on the chat down there.
Yes.
All right. You guys have a great one.
Thank you. Good night.
Well,
Bye.
blessings always. Bye.